Good morning, Stock Twits crew. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope y'all have had a great week so far. It's been another crazy one, and we got some more crazy data today with Powell speaking. So it's gonna be a fun day, I imagine, to wrap up the week. Michael Nauss and I, we were just talking backstage, and things have been good for us. So I'm curious, how's the week been for you? I know you've been capitalizing on things, but for the audience, how have things been, and what have you been capitalizing on?
Yeah, it's been an amazing week. It's been a huge week, and just a lot of it is, what we're seeing here, and what we're again, my bold statement that I made backstage is I think you're seeing a couple hedge funds go pop here, and the reason for it is that we have, for the longest time, there's been this pairs trade going on that seems like everyone and its dog's been doing, where you buy the Qs and you short the IWM and you play that kind of pairs trade, and then you're able to leverage that up because you're saying, well, I'm kind of market neutral here, so I can do this. But of course, what needs to have that trade explode is just a break in the other direction, and that's what we're seeing this week, where we're having the large cap tech sell off. We're having IWM actually rally in the face of it, which I don't know when the last time, it's been like 6 years. So it's that whole regency bias thing where this trade's been working for so long, people get a little bit too ahead of their skis, a little bit too uppity, and I don't think we're done. We'll get the new COT data on the weekend, so Monday we'll know a little bit more. But the fact that I'm profiting off these guys blowing up, I'm totally okay with. I sleep
You gotta love it.
beautifully every night, and yeah, it's been great. I hope it goes on for another couple weeks.
Yeah, take advantage, right? When it's
hmm
there. Just to wrap up some of what happened yesterday, market sagged a bit on Thursday under a stormy East Coast sky and an equally stormy macro backdrop as Hurricane Aaron lashed the Carolinas. A fifth straight day of selling in AI and tech stocks battered investor sentiment. So, you know, the 2 day bear market, I like to call it, Michael Mouse. It's what we pretty much have seen. Well, I guess we came in a little bit more yesterday, but it's a couple day bear market so far. It's really not too bad. And like you're saying, these guys have been continuously getting ran over. And if they're going to keep positioning the way they are, I expect it to keep happening like you. So we'll
Yeah, and
see.
I think it's hilarious to see the panic out there on social media and Twitter and everything. And then so this chart right here, this is the drawdown chart. So we are now down from all-time highs 1.36%. And because it's like a lot of the darling stocks that are getting hit the most, your Palantirs and names like this, the just everyone is feeling it much more. So, I've done a couple more spicier tweets where, I point out that we're only down 1% from all-time highs. And there's a lot of pushback on that because yeah, people are feeling this way more than they were before, where if you look at the IWM is still down 6% from all-time highs, but you just don't feel that because the small caps have been grinding higher as Palantir has just kind of imploded a little bit. But I always look at it and say, if you're trading this stuff, you shouldn't really squawk at a 16% drawdown. You should be used to it. By this thing got cut in half like 3 times this year. Get over it.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the investment, right? I mean, that's part of
Yeah.
owning the stock. There, you got to be ready for those types of hits, and if you really love the stock, those are gonna turn into buying opportunities for you, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, great stuff there. Tariffs still here. After U.S. and EU leaders met in D.C., it became clear 15% tariffs on steel, semis, aluminum, and pharma are staying, with no major exceptions in sight. Meanwhile, Powell's Friday speech looms over a Jackson Hole summit filled with split opinions and rate cut fatigue. Obviously, we're getting that going here this morning around 10 o'clock
Mm.
Eastern. So that'll be fun. Final sector count, just 2 of 11 closed green, with energy ticker XLE up 0.69% leading, and staples ticker XLP down 0.9% lagging. For the indexes, SPY was down 0.4%, QQQ down about 0.5%, IWM was up 0.25. We mentioned those had that little bit of a relative strength there, and then the Dow down 0.31. So
Well, and then the micro caps, right? No one's talking about the micro
yeah,
caps, up
true. That's a
almost
good point.
1%, right? So
Uh,
IWC, for those who want it, yeah, your micro caps are up almost a point. And you have, again, large cap down, you've got all these names down, but the lower you go down the cap scale, the better off it's been. So for you small cap traders, you should be really loving life. But we're seeing just again the bifurcation of this market. So today, I think again will be really really spicy when it comes to this because these smaller cap names are so interest rate sensitive. So if we're talking about, if I'm right, and hedge funds here are getting kind of squeezed and forced liquidated out, then if he says anything that is really pro, I'm going to cut rates a bunch before I leave, this trade is going to get absolutely insane, and that margin call, that liquidation event could increase. So if they are long, which they are long the Qs and short IWM, if interest rates are going to tank dramatically, that's going to reverse, and then all of a sudden hedge funds are no different from us. That broker comes a knocking, and if you don't answer right away and give them the capital they need to keep that trade open, they liquidate you. So that would mean insane force selling of the Qs and force buying of the IWM, and then a little bit of the S&P 500 as well.
yeah, that's a great point to put out there. The way that works. Let's talk about Cracker Barrel and their woke facelift flop
I didn't
with
even know this was a company. I don't even, what's the ticker?
CBRL. Sank
CBR.
7% and topped StockTwit's trending tickers after revealing a new flattened logo and rebrand. A lot of you guys probably saw it. They removed the old man sitting on the barrel, ripped to that, or sitting on the chair with his arm on the barrel. Yeah, people didn't like it, and
So this is the
everybody's
moment.
going to these basic logos, Michael. Now, so everybody's going to just like the words in blocky letters, no creativity. What's going
I
on here?
I thought, and this is just goes to show, I've never seen one of these things in my fishing village in Canada. I thought it was a cheese company. It's saying right here it's a restaurant. So I obviously not affected by this at all, but it just looks like it's back down to support right here. Big level. I don't know. They changed their brand. Okay. Right. There's someone out there probably made like 200K last year to be like their marketing guy and to redesign that. And then they're just getting flopped. But at least people are talking about Cracker Barrel, which I
Sure.
guess is probably a good thing. Right, you're getting mentioned. That would be the argument when I'm getting pulled into the CEO's office today. That's the argument I'm making. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, no, again, I thought it was a cheese company, but I guess it's a restaurant.
Oh, it's a restaurant. Um, but yeah, I mean, interesting stuff. It just feels like everybody's getting so basic with these logos. But you're right. Like you said, everybody's talking about Cracker Barrel now. So
Hmm.
it's a win on the marketing side there, at least in that area. The refresh, part of a broader redesign across 20 plus stores, was aimed at modernizing Cracker Barrel, but sparked backlash and comparisons to Bud Light and American Apparel PR missteps. So rough there. But
Oh
let's
well,
see
they
what
got to do
else.
something. Look at that.
Yeah.
They've been just bleeding.
Oh,
So
it's been rough. Yeah, they turn it around somehow, right? I mean, we also had Chipotle continues to slide. It was down 28% year to date so far,
damn.
despite drone delivery tests and sustained retail skepticism over its valuation. But yeah, Chipotle this year just not performing. I
And
will
that
say
guy
though, the
went to
way it's
Starbucks,
falling
wasn't it?
is interesting. I think, yeah,
He's not been helping there either. I
uh-uh.
don't know.
choppy names, right? That's what you see. And
Mm.
Chipotle more downside, but I don't know that the higher time frame structure doesn't look horrible. It's just it's going to take some time to get back to where we were. I think
But yeah, if we can reclaim this low at like
Yeah,
45, if it starts to reclaim there, that to me is kind of interesting because that's a little bit of an undercut, spend a little bit of time there, kind of come back through. You know, I think that might be viable. This, for those who don't know, right? This thing has just been a. This is why everyone got excited when he moved to Starbucks, because he took this from 73 cents to $73. So what's that, like a 10,000%? Yeah,
yeah,
10,000% gain. So if you were an investor to make a 10,000% gain, that's why everyone got excited. But could be one of those that, maybe the big guy's gone and he's the one that was, holding the ship together, and he's gone too. Another way to draw this, just looking at it, is just maybe like this is on a weekly chart, just the most insane bull flag of all time. And we just gonna break out of here. I don't know, but yeah, for me it would just be, can we retake $45? If not, leave it alone. If we can, maybe it's a little buy here.
yeah. Something to keep an eye on. Of course, everybody's waiting for the Jerome Powell speech today, and the Fed speakers have already been talking previously here. Bostic sees only one cut in 2025. Schmidt says we need definitive data before any move. Hammock says no case for a cut yet. Goolsby said in the next meeting is live and the inflation data has been weak. A lot of just mixed opinions here from all the Fed speakers. Do you have any thoughts on that, Michael? I know we don't care about that too much, but I'm just curious if you had any.
Dude, no. I
Yeah,
just see a whole bunch of people fighting for the next job, right? It's
yeah,
going to
right.
be the job. We know the job interview for the next Fed is, okay, how much do you want to cut and how loud are you going to be about it? And those are basically the two things. So I think you're going to get the people who continue, the guys who want to be Fed chair for the next, I don't know however long a term is, they're just going to be screaming to cut rates. And the ones that maybe want to do it next time or just want to kind of keep that data dependency thing going, they're going to probably be backing off. But I'm watching the TNX. This is the 10-year yield. You can see, in 2020, that's where yields went to pretty much zero, and then they've been just grinding up ever since then. And I don't know, they just haven't done anything for a while. And we know that the big man, the guy who runs the country, he doesn't want high rates, so he's going to be battling this chart down. For me, I just think it's one of those, wait till he's off stage and then watch what the market does then. And that's the direction that it wanted to go probably all week, but was just waiting for him to finish up to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep, smart way to go about it. Fed Governor Lisa Cook is under DOJ scrutiny for alleged mortgage fraud. If she
Nice.
exits, Trump gets. He said, "Nice." If she exits, Trump gets another seat to fill. That could tip the balance further toward rate cuts, as Trump appointees Bowman and Waller are already calling for one now. Um, so yeah, you guys can also check out the light paper chart analysis comparing Bitcoin and S&P futures after the past summits. So interesting stuff there. We got some pops and drops that happened. Walmart flagged tariff-driven pricing pressure, but retail sentiment flipped bullish anyway. I know it dropped pretty significantly on earnings.
hmm
Doesn't look like we've really recovered so far, but I don't
No, a
know if we'll
little bit of
bounce off
bounce
the
off low.
lows.
It's interesting to watch that versus Target. So I traded this Target. And the
Mm-hmm.
only reason I know is because I traded both of them. So Target gapped down on earnings, but just ripped all day. So I took the same trade on Walmart, where when it came in here, I took a little bit of a dip buy, and then it just did nothing. I think I got in like around here, and then it just did nothing all day. So I don't know if that's kind of showing that maybe there'll be some kind of rotation here. I know some traders love to trade these similar stocks versus each other, long Walmart, short Target, vice versa. I don't know if because that's been the move, right? If you do Walmart over Target and just chart that out, it's been pretty much a straight line higher forever. So if you were long Walmart and short Target, you have kind of a little bit of a market neutral type of thing, but you end up making a lot of money as this thing drifts higher, and that might be changing here. So it's just something to keep an eye on as that ratio kind of gapped down yesterday.
Yeah. We also had Nvidia. Strong quarter two expected. $46 billion revenue. Sentiment rising pre earnings. Of course, we have earnings this next week on Wednesday, which is the last of the Mag 7. That'll be fun. But pretty much just stuck in this consolidation. We dropped at the
Hmm.
market a bit. We've done nothing these past 2 days. And in the bigger range, we're really just in the same spot that we've been since weeks ago, months ago. So,
Yep. And it's like how much bigger can it get?
yeah.
It's 4 trillion now. Is it going to go to 8? Is that I think it's if you take Nvidia and Microsoft, you combine them, it's bigger than all the healthcare stocks and all the financial stocks. I think I read that stat somewhere, which is just nuts. So the question is, for me, it just gets to a point where, and I'm not by any means a valuation guy, where I just look at it and I say, well, again, how much higher is it going to go? And then I want to look at something like Intel, say, hey, well, if we're going to be pure socialists on this and just start buying Intel, is this the move? Right. And talking about pairs trade still, is the move maybe a long Intel, short Nvidia, and see if there's some amount of revision back where business kind of leaves one and goes the other or something like that. But uh, I'm just it's in this base, potentially could break out. But I just look at this and I say, how much more are you looking to get? Like 20%, 10%, you're taking trades like that, that's fine. I just think, just like I mentioned with Bitcoin, the days of Nvidia doubling and tripling, I think are behind us now. It's just gotten too big. It's going to be like the size of the entire stock market soon.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's tough to just anticipate that it keeps on going, right? And of course, I'm not sitting here and like big bad bear on Nvidia or anything,
No.
right? It can't be, but uh, yeah, it's not the trade it once was at all, right?
Hmm.
There's other names in the market now. There's other name. I mean, look at what Hood did, right? In what less than 3 months off those lows. I mean, that is a insane stock that could have changed your life. I mean, arguably, look at that base too. Looks very similar to INTC right now,
Hmm.
which I love. But INTC just needs some momentum to break out and actually get trending up. But
Oh, and I've been
just
I've
love to
been
take advantage
screaming,
of those.
like, for the audience, hit me up and find me stocks that, and I have a couple already. I've given some examples, but find me stocks that went as if, like, people. I remember the whole conversation with Robinhood was, well, it's cheap now, someone will buy it, and that's like someone will buy it out, and that's how there was never a talk about recovery. And don't give me stocks that are just horrible, right? What I'm looking for is something that got hammered and then has done nothing for preferably over a year, and then you buy the breakout of that low base. That has been working like so much. Like the example I give, right? Here's another one that I'm in right now, this outlet that's in the low base. MSOS, we know our boy Andrew's been all
Oh
about
yeah,
this, right? Goes and just stops going down. Not this one's about a year, right? This is the beginning of 2025, and a low base, and then it breaks out. And it just shows that the value investing nerds have been just kind of buying here. PSIL is another one that I'm watching, and I own a bunch already. Right, it just at the same price it was in October 2023, so it's done nothing for 2 years. This is, in my opinion, this is the move right now, is just find the things that were bankrupt. As you get into, I don't know, you could call it a late stage bull market or whatever. These are the things, these kind of zombie companies or whatever. They have these explosive gains and doubles and triples and 10x's. And it's an easy trade because you know right where you're wrong. If the PSIL, which is psychedelics ETF, if it breaks back down and gets in back into this box and spends too much time here, you're out. Right. So same with Hood. If you bought the breakout of the box right here, you're simply saying, hey, I'm buying it at 13. You don't get it at 6, but that's fine. You're buying it at 13. You're saying, hey, if it goes back down to like 10 or something, I'm out. And then off to the races. Right?
yeah. Yeah, got to keep our eye out for those bases. I'll keep my eye out for you, Michael. I know you're always looking for
Good.
those.
Text me, DM me,
Yeah,
email me,
yeah, we'll do.
call me.
Anthropic reportedly seeking $10 billion in funding at $170 billion valuation. So that's something to keep up to date with. Do you know anything about that?
Um, Claude, yeah, I use Claude all the time. It's funny, actually. What I'm showing you right now is the Perplexity browser, which is
Oh,
cool. I got an invite to this.
it's really good.
It can actually manipulate things in the browser, which is something I'm playing with for offloading some of my more boring, repetitive work. And I know Claude is looking to do the same thing, where it's actually can manipulate your computer. You install this little app and you say, like, here, watch. This is a boring thing that I do every day. Now, at 2 in the morning, wake up and just do it for me. It's interesting. It's I find I use Claude quite often for some of my systems development, coding, that type of stuff. It's not nearly as good as ChatGPT or Perplexity, I'd say, for general purpose AI, but it's one of the big three. So it's that valuation doesn't seem crazy to me, because all of these things are worth insane amounts.
Oh, definitely. We also have BA on here finalizing 500 plane deal with China, possibly its biggest order ever. I wonder.
Which one?
I haven't looked
Sorry,
at that stuff. That was Boeing.
Boeing.
I haven't looked at Boeing in a minute. Um,
Well,
oh,
maybe is this the same kind of thing
a little
where,
bit in a bigger range for
yeah,
sure. But I mean, same look with that gap above too.
because this one wasn't, obviously has never been really priced for bankruptcy, but it got killed kind of right in here, 2020, and then it got killed again after planes started falling apart mid-flight and all of that. It just seems to be the move, is you're just taking, and I don't know if it's one of those that investors are just looking now. They can't, like we talked about, it's too late to chase the AI trade. It's too late to trace Nvidia and all these. So they're just looking for names, and they're just kind of saying, okay, give me stocks that if they get back to all-time highs, or if they get back to any high, it ends up being an insane return. So this is like a 50% gain if it goes back to all-time highs. Intel, for example, if it broke out of here, if it went back to all-time highs, it's 150% gain. That outlet that I was talking about, that's like 1,000% or something like that. And they're just looking at it and saying, well, if I can't chase the massive company that's already at highs, if I can buy some of these low bases as they're breaking out and get some of that move, right? PSIL, if it got back to anywhere near those highs, there's just more meat on the bone when it comes to these. And so many fund managers have been underperforming this entire year that these kind of seem like flyers to try to keep their jobs. Let's just start YOLOing something that if it makes any move at all and retraces half of its down move, I'm gonna make something off it. Kind of feels like that. Some call it a dash for trash or whatever, but I'll take it.
I love it. No, I like hearing about it, and I mean, there's potential for it, right? It's not like it's
Mm.
dead beat and there's no reason to be looking at it. So, DraftKings rumored to acquire Railbird, pushing into prediction markets. This is another
Mm.
stock I have not looked at in a minute, but wow, nice move from the lows and right back to kind of where we were, just consolidating again.
Yeah, little cup and handly here, right? Little
Yeah.
draft. These prediction markets are really interesting. I'm experimenting with them more. Sadly, there's not enough data, and it's going to be really hard for me to build systems. But I could see in a world where you use these markets to trade stocks. Like I'm always thinking about that, where let's say you have a move in what they think for an interest rate cut next quarter. That seems like it could be directly proportional. And the thing that got me interested is both your guys' elections and ours up here in Canada. The prediction markets were spot on. They nailed it like perfectly across the board. So it makes me think, is there a wisdom of crowds that makes sense? Because it's not just people asking. Like I hate sentiment data, and I hate survey data, because people can say whatever they want. But with this kind of prediction market, they're putting their money where their mouth is, right? They're trying to make money off this. So I think this is interesting. I think it's going to be a hugely growing sector, as people just want to take bets, or even responsible hedges on anything. Like, say there's one for what is gas price is going to be, whatever. If you're worried about gas prices, just take a bet on it, and you'll kind of hedge yourself if you end up being right and gas prices spike or something. So I could see non degen reasons for these prediction markets. So
Oh yeah. I mean, in DraftKings specifically that we're looking at, it looks good. Like if you took DraftKings off of there, I didn't know it was DraftKings. That I'd be
mm,
looking at that stock going, this looks phenomenal. I mean, we just made that low. And
yeah,
kind of double bottom, whatever you want to call it, high or low, whatever it is there. And then that beautiful distribution to the upside. Now we're just going sideways. If this was super unhealthy, I don't think we'd just be consolidating right where we sold off previously, waiting to
Yeah.
kind of break out here. So I think it looks
Yeah,
great.
speaking of Hood, it kind of looks like, right, with Hood was the same thing.
Yeah.
We got back to that prior high, and then it hung out for a little bit before moving. I think Coinbase kind of the same thing, right? Back to that prior high, and it's consolidating nicely. So it could be one of those, add to the list, those cup and handle style plays.
Yeah. We also had Instacart downgraded on Amazon pressure. Sentiment went bearish.
That's
It's been a
called like
while since I looked
Maple
at
or
cart.
something.
Yeah.
Maple Bear.
Maple Bear, that's what it is.
Uh, Cart.
It's funny.
Makes sense.
It, it's it hasn't been doing horrible, but it's a very choppy name.
Yeah, it's these IPOs. I like just put a VWAP on and say this is the average price of the average market participant since the birth of the stock. You can see how well it's been acting as support. But yeah, other than that, you're range bound here. So nothing real too interesting until you can get to the high or the low end of the range.
Yeah. What about Neo? They revealed new ES8 SUV. Sentiment shot to extremely bullish on there.
Ooh,
It
speaking
has been
of
getting a nice pop.
like little low bases, that
There you go.
because
There it
that
is.
might be one. Because I do like China, right? If you take a look at K-Web in particular, we've been just kind of hanging out at this zone. You can see this. So K-Web, for those who don't know, it's like the Qs of China. And we've hit that level 1, 2, 3, 4 times. It's around 37.50, 38. And just no one's talking about it anymore. It was really, really hot for a second there. And everyone was talking about China all the time. And then everyone stopped talking about China. So, I look at that and say, well, if China's going to make a next leg higher, then something like a Neo might be the move in order to play. And I like these low bases, so I think I'm going to put out a little alert for Neo. Maybe buy some of this today. I like it.
Solid. We
Yeah.
like that. Bitcoin hovering near
Yeah.
113.6K ahead of Powell's speech. This has been getting a nice drop. And I know a
Hmm.
bunch of crypto people are probably still sitting there on that low time frame freaking out, which I can understand. We're sitting at 112.2 right now, hit that 111.5 almost. But to me, all we're really doing right now, it's definitely a nice little sell off this week, but all we're really doing is coming down to this range we've made on the daily, and we're taking out
Hmm.
these internal range lows at 111. And it's a matter of what we do here, right? If we want to sweep these lows and stay in this range, we can. This is going to be the low for a little while. And if we want to distribute through these lows and actually get more of a retest towards 110, maybe back under 110, and retest some of these 105s, 108s, I could see that happening. But as of now, I gotta think that they try and sweep this low so far, and we'll see how we act and close the day. But you got any thoughts on Bitcoin?
No, I think you nailed it right. Prior resistance right here, acting as support right here.
Yeah,
This zone is going to be so heavily watched that I don't think it's going to be clean one way or the other. I think you're going to get a lot of BS around like undercuts and rips back through or rallies over it and then sells back off. And yeah, just big range bound. And this is we know that Bitcoin is so heavily correlated with the Qs. It's going to matter what the Qs do. What I'm super interested in is this Ethereum Bitcoin ratio has just continued. So this is Ethereum priced in Bitcoin. So line go down, Bitcoin's the better investment. Line go up, Ethereum's the better investment. And ever since it had this initial spike off the lows, it's been the move, and you can even see it today. Right? We have Ethereum up almost 1%, and then we have Bitcoin down. So I'm kind of wondering if the torch is going to be passed at least for a little bit, and we're going to be looking at like Ethereum, maybe Solana, uh, maybe some Fartcoin, some sheep with hash, those kind of things. But I'm a little bit more interested in that. But as you can see, if you look at Ethereum, really long-term chart is range bound, like huge range from 2021. And then you look at Solana, also really, really range bound here as well. So I look at this noise and I remind people that we all remember when Bitcoin goes crazy and has really clean, awesome moves to trade. but that's not most of the time. Most of the time, Bitcoin is just annoying the most amount of people possible, and it just feels like that's one of those moments here.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. What else we got? Oh, there's that bell.
Ding, ding,
Market's
ding, ding,
opening
ding.
up. ES is over this London high from last night. We're pushing over to the session high from yesterday. So we'll see if that wants to rip. It's looking stronger than NQ this morning.
Well,
NQ's
and if
looking
we look
way
at the
weaker.
positioning data, it makes perfect sense. So this is this red line. This is the positioning of the large institutions. They are short 192,000 contracts of the ES, and they are short, or they're long a whole bunch when it loads in here. They're along a whole bunch of the NQ. So I think that might continue.
Nice
Hey Leah, how's it
drop
going?
into the open. What's up, Leah?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah,
This market just got smacked right into the open. Dang.
I'm waiting for Powell at 10 a.m. That's
Yeah,
it.
Yep.
so I mean that's going to be big for sure. I'm curious, what have obviously it's been crazy week already. What have you been tapping into on the trading side of things, and then what are you looking for today with Powell speaking?
Honestly, I haven't done much this week. I was packing for Burning Man and my focus was completely off, but I have some trades that I opened I can share with you, and I have callers that are like at this point as I was explaining last week, this the short call and both long put, they all got into money this week. So I'm having like nice profits on those, and I'm patient. I haven't closed many besides coin. I closed the caller on coin. Let me show you the ones I had.
Yeah, let's see it.
Colors. I love the strategy. Really, it's so amazing. So here we go. So AMG 200 and 160. Yeah, 160. It's, I don't draw it perfectly. I don't know on trading view, honestly, when I'm trying to do like a perfect on like the cent on the right side, it's really hard sometimes. So anyways, 200, 160 is a color. Anet is 149, 129. I'm also in the money in that one. Nvidia, I have callers on
You riding the
200.
wave up into earnings, little pre-earnings run up?
Yeah, I just did callers on stuff last week
Okay,
because
gotcha.
we were just too high up and we were
Yeah.
getting into September. Wood, I have a caller. That one is not in the money yet. It's 9,540. And I had coin, but I sold coin when it hit 290. That was the lower of my on 293. Well, I had 294.10 on coin. This one I closed. I made money on that one. It's a great strategy, honestly. You make money on both legs. You don't really have any risk besides you might get called away. I'm like, okay, whatever, be it. And I was trading this week. Let me show you my trades right here. I'm in Elf, but I'm sitting there since last week Wednesday, so it's just chopping. I'm
Still looking
certain.
good though. I like the
Yeah,
structure.
yeah, it's
Michael Nass, that
probably
kind of looks like what were we just looking at?
cup
That
and
looked like a cup and
handle.
handle.
Yeah.
DraftKings.
Yes, DraftKings. That's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna chop around for a bit, and then hopefully it's gonna take off again and have like more powerful movement. I just wanted something that's not like high beta and crazy. Even though then I have Len I added at this demand zone.
Another big
Also,
base.
yeah,
Look at that.
exactly. These are like really beat up names. It's a company that like a development company. It's in Miami and all over the place. So I got this one, and I'm still in Oscar. My God, I'm getting like really annoyed with this stock.
It got a
Uh,
pop the other day, huh? But it didn't it
it
just
did,
come right
yeah.
back in? Yeah, yeah. It's just
It's
back and
yeah.
forth here.
I'm
It's
like,
a tough one.
I already lightened up on that position. I'm just like, you know what? And then I added even more into this on the retest of the gap right here.
Oh yeah.
So my average now is 277 with all the additions I had. I was adding at 288 and then when it dumped and then now, so 277 is my average, which is right at the bottom of this gap. I do believe it's gonna hold even if it would retest at some point. But again, I'm not expecting to double my money in one week. And I had really ugly trade in this horrible Ponzi. Uh,
Thumbs up media. Uh
Honestly, this one just
oh.
dumped. I'm like, oh my god, it was nothing even like, just like poop down. So that's like the worst trade of the year for me. Honestly, I don't have trades like this
What does a
Mm.
thumbs up media do? It sounds like they're probably a Bitcoin treasury now. Is that it?
No, actually, it's worse.
It's worse.
Farcoin treasury.
Yeah.
Fuck my life. Dodge.
Doge? No,
Oh
no.
no.
That's what happened. This fucking thing.
No.
It was like they
That's
were like
awesome.
buying Ethereum and Litecoin, and then they decided to be a Dodge treasury and look.
That
Hilarious.
is
Dun,
insane.
dun,
Wow.
dun.
Why not?
Yeah, why
Horrible.
not?
Anyways, so that's my week. What can I say?
It's crazy to see. We have the Qs just like hovering around even, and then we have the IWM up 0.8%. So this
I want to go
unwind.
long on this thing as we talked about it last week.
Yeah, and we
Well,
chat a
last
little
week.
bit on Twitter too. Why I
Yeah.
have this Q short IWM long trade.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very interested. So that caught data, the positioning data that I reference, updates on the
Mm.
weekend. So I'm going to be like pounding
What is it?
refresh.
What is that website?
The commitment of traders data. I can get you the exact website, but of course it's a boring government type website.
That's okay.
But there's a couple of free trading view indicators that you can just put on if you just search for
GFTC?
COT.
GFTC?
Yeah, it's the CFTC outputs it.
Oh, see. Sorry, I'm blind. It's too early.
Data CFTC.
Yeah, I see it. And then, okay,
Yeah,
wow.
commitments of cftc.org/market report/commitment of traders. So it comes out, I think, yeah, that guy right there.
.gov, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you
And
guys
they,
don't see me. Or can you see me?
yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
see
got
you.
you.
We see the CFTC
Oh,
website there.
not my website. Okay, okay, perfect. Yeah, yeah, I'm looking at that so people can see. This is interesting. I didn't know about this website.
Yeah, and
And where
I
do you
use
find it?
it is caught data. Yeah, caught. If you scroll down a little bit, yeah, it's right there
Mm-hmm.
on the left-hand side. Caught public reporting. To be honest, I use a lot of the trading view indicators.
For this?
Yeah, there's a couple that they just update for you. They use
Okay.
the API and they can just go from there. But you can put in the public reporting. But there's the
Mm.
combined report and all kinds of cool places. Bar chart, Finviz actually updates theirs. They have a whole future section
So
where
you
they
basically see you see what the big money is positioning like?
yeah. So here let me show you I'll show you the audience here, the Finviz one. I'm just gonna snag screen share from you for a second
And
here.
it's the code reporting environment. No,
Share. Boom. All right.
market
So I just stole that
dynamics.
from you for a second. But yeah, so if you just go to
Yeah.
Finviz and
Mm-hmm.
then click on the futures up here. The thing I like about this
Mm-hmm.
is it's charted for you. So if I
Yeah.
wanted to know like the positioning data on the Russell 2000, I can click on the Russell 2000 and the chart that it will bring up eventually here. So this lower indicator essentially has three lines. So the blue line is your small speculators. So
So
people
you
who
go to
are
futures, right?
yeah,
On Finviz. Okay.
yeah, and then you can click on any of those futures. So yeah, the blue lines is small speculators. Don't really care too much about them unless they're really positioned one way or another. What we're looking at is the red line, and the red line is the large speculators. And so the green line is the commercial hedgers, and commercial hedgers are people that they need to trade futures to hedge some sort of their operation. I always use like airlines, for example. They're obviously doing a lot of trading when it comes to oil and gas because they need to make sure that that's why futures were designed, that they have a price that they can then trade against to make sure that they can keep planes in the air and they can keep their company or their business going. The other
Okay.
side of that is the speculators. So if you think about it, the speculators are normally wrong, and we just know that most speculators in the market lose money on mass and over time. So my idea, and another great resource I always shout him out, is Jason Shapiro. He's a market wizard. This is the only way he's been trading for 20 years, and he just talks about it pretty simply, that if your underlying idea is that people are generally speaking wrong, that just like with sentiment data, we don't care when it's in the middle. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
it's
not
only
too
when
far.
it's at one extreme or another that we actually
Yes.
care.
Mm-hmm.
So if we assume they're wrong, so on this chart you can see they were most short the Russell right around the 2022 2023 when it bottomed. So buying the Russell the last time they were this short was a good idea, and now they're short again. And then you compare that to price, because they've been shorting, but it's not just that they are short, it's that they've been shorting the whole way as the Russell's up like 30 something percent from its lows. They've
Oh
been getting
God.
more
Yeah, I
short
see
every
that.
week.
So that's the large money, like large institutions, hedge funds, and stuff like that, right?
Yep. And this is one of those things that if you don't declare this, you go to jail. And actually the person doesn't declare it. Like Jordan trades futures, but he's not writing the CFTC his position. His broker has to send that data off. And the reason for that was because people were manipulating markets by basically buying up all the open interest of a futures contract, and they could again be the entire market maker on them. So this came after that. And yeah, so you can see this massive short position that's been on small caps. And then if you go to the NASDAQ, they've just been pretty long, not insanely long, but they've actually been buying the NASDAQ on the way up. So that's kind of my idea of, okay, if everyone's long the NASDAQ and short the Russell, if we have a move against that, then that position they have kind of blows up. And if they're on margin, which they probably are, then they get blown up on margin. They have to force liquidate that position, which would mean buying the
Yeah,
Russell and
it's
selling the
gonna be
NASDAQ.
short squeeze.
Right. So that's the
But
idea behind it.
oh, and who is short on QQQ? Commercial hedgers.
Yeah, and
Okay.
generally speaking, commercial hedgers will be a little more of the smart money, but we don't pay as much attention to them because they are hedging, which means that
Because
they
they're
are
smart, so they won't be wrong.
well, partly, but it means
Partially.
they're hedging against something, right? So,
Yeah.
for oil is I think a perfect example. If you look at the oil futures, so energy, crude oil, and you look at this data, they're always short. The hedgers are always short oil. And that's because what they're doing is they're shorting against a potential price spike on oil. So again, back to
Mm-hmm.
the airline example, if you're an airline, you have to make sure that you are selling oil contracts so you know what it is that you're paying for oil to power your planes or gas or whatever they end up using. So these guys are sometimes they always have a position, and it's always short. So what you do is I kind of look at the extremes of this chart. So
Mm-hmm.
they're not short, but they're not as long as they usually are on oil. So
Mm-hmm.
means we could be going up over time. And then you also have, for you crypto nerds, because there are Bitcoin futures, there's Bitcoin commitment of traders data. And I love this for this as well, where it seems like breakouts.
Everyone is the same, almost now.
Yeah, so there's pretty much no position, which would explain the choppy action that we're getting in
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin. But the reason that I bought this particular breakout, and then this new all-time high breakout, especially right here in Bitcoin, is because look how short they were when we broke that 110 and quickly moved to 120. So everyone in the world was short. So this was like a liquidation event. So yeah, just
Ah,
it's kind of like just like short float data. Like the reason, so I'm long this
okay.
open door, and the
You
reason
are?
is because the shorts haven't covered. So I do the same thing. I
I
chart.
am in contracts with Open, actually.
Yeah,
I
so
feel
yeah,
awful
it's no
about
different
myself.
from if I can find out where you're in pain, I want to
Mm-hmm.
take the other side of that trade. So that because I know the best kind of buying that happens out there is force buying. This is the best kind of selling that happens is force
Yeah.
selling.
Yeah, it's the best moves, right? When they start panicking and closing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I also looked at energies. Yeah, they did pretty well. FLNG was finally having a breakout. Um, I missed
Yeah,
that one.
futures, so we can look at that too. Futures, and hey, this is I gotta pay these guys at some point.
There's so many more
Yeah.
futures than you
um
realize. Like especially someone like me, I just like trading QNES, and you see all the different futures contracts you can trade. It's wild.
yeah, so when I look at natural
Oh.
gas here, I just say, well, this isn't extreme. Right here it was extreme,
Mhm.
but this isn't. They're net short, so probably moving, if you had to take a bet higher. But I just look at that and say it's just like with sentiment data. If sentiment is neutral, then there's just no data to be there's no
Yeah.
information to be gleaned there.
I read this in that CMT book, the first one, first
Hmm.
level, because I was gonna do the courses, and I read the first book, and they were talking about this actually towards the end of the book, that it's usually the extreme sentiment that you want to pay attention to,
Yeah.
not when it's like okay, a little bit there, a little bit there, but when it gets too much on one side, um, also with the crowds, then you kind of want to start paying attention to the other side.
Yeah, if you
Interesting.
like sentiment data, it's like I always just say
Mm-hmm.
anyone can say whatever they want in a survey. This is where people's actual money is. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you have an extreme bear sentiment and an extreme short positioning, that's where I'm personally going to start looking for long
Longs.
trades, just using
Mm-hmm.
the idea that they're probably wrong.
Yeah. Interesting now, and I'm looking at Nvidia. I was also sitting. Yeah, if things are waiting for Powell, I guess maybe it will be nothing burger
Yeah.
today. That's what I'm more inclining to because everyone is expecting a huge move
Yeah.
soon.
Keep it chill on the
I
Friday.
also bought NVO and Lulu
Oh,
actually
Novo
for
Nordisk, huh?
yeah at 54. Oh god, it's
Hmm.
moving today. I just wanted to get some stocks that are like beat up. I had a nice trade on the CRM. That was a nice one.
Novo Nordisk almost in that half gap, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That would be a great spot. I'd definitely be looking for that. That
yeah,
halfway mark, 50% of that gap there. Maybe it gets full
yeah.
gap,
I
but
just want to buy it and hold it, so I don't
yeah,
want to really trade this.
gotcha.
I like, and again, I'm not one of these Ozempic haters that a lot of people are.
What's the
I really
problem with
think
that?
these.
It's amazing, this medication.
I think they're like I was reading about, was it trizepatide or something
Yeah,
like
that,
that?
I take it. I love it.
It
It's amazing.
the health markers of people after
Yeah,
trizepatides are
yeah,
through the roof, right? I know there's a
yeah.
lot of people, oh, you should just go
Oh,
to the
it's
gym and
amazing.
eat good and blah blah. And like, no,
I
if
don't
we
take it to lose weight. You don't have to
Well,
take it
we're
to lose
in a
weight.
different age now, there's other things we can use now too.
well, have you
It's
seen
amazing.
now that we're nerding out on this stuff? Have you seen the myostatin inhibitors that are? I think it's Novo Nordisk that might be working on
Mm-hmm.
one.
No,
So
have not.
okay. Have you ever seen the pictures of like cows or dogs that are just jacked? Like they're just huge
Oh yeah.
and like
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
little kids. So what happens is, so there's something in the body called myostatin, and the role of it is to keep you from gaining too much muscle, because out in the wild, if you gain too much muscle, it's a bad thing, right? Because you have to feed the muscle, it's calorie intensive, you're
Mm-hmm.
slower, you're whatever, or else we would all just grow till we couldn't move. So they're with this trizepatide, which targets specifically body fat, they are pairing a myostatin inhibitor. So essentially, you will just go in and take a drug, and you will be as muscular and as low body fat as you want, and it'll just be a dial that you'll be able to turn up and down without going to the gym, without doing any of that. Just everyone's going to walk around just like Schwarzenegger if they want to. And of course, there'll be some
Amazing.
abuses,
Insane.
but
Oh, for sure. I know
overall,
people are
it's
gonna
going to be
abuse it.
so amazing for people's overall health outcomes. It's going to be great.
You can microdose it. I microdose it because I'm 110 pounds, so I don't want to lose weight. My whole life I was around 102 to 108 pounds, like literally last 20 years. And I don't want to lose weight. But honestly, if you have any sort of issues with digestion or any sort of like IBS or any of that, this
Mhm.
shit is amazing. Like it really works.
Well, and it
And
because it targets,
so good.
so trizepatide targets the visceral fat, which is the around your
On the belly.
organs and
Yeah.
everything.
And that one, yeah.
And that's really the
Yeah.
killer, is because that's where you, your organs are. That's where your heart and your
Yeah.
lungs
Yeah.
and all of that are. So no,
No,
I'm
it's really good.
yeah.
I mean, again, like my body fat was 12% and my visceral fat was below 1%. Like I never had issues with any of this, but I'm taking it for health purposes and it
Hmm.
really works. And like when you talk about muscles, like look at peptides, like
Mhm.
CBC or all any of those. I have them all here, like I bought boxes of them. And you inject it for a week and it's not, it is very good for you. It has nothing to do with growth hormone. It just helps your body to release growth hormone on its own. And like I have six pack in a week. It's I mean, again, like it's easier for me, but there's so many great things. So yeah, I love these companies. I think they just had the side effects. I think was it Ozempic with blindness and something with your eyes. You could get some issue with that. They're suing them for I don't know $2 billion now. They have to pay to people. They lost their vision I think $2 million each. That was the trial. But yeah, I bought that, and I like Lily chart too. It's
Hmm.
bouncing.
Yeah,
I
Lily's been
mean,
getting some moves. Look
yeah.
at
So
that.
Lily,
Nice.
NVO, and Lulu I bought. I love the outfits, and the chart is really beat up.
Well,
So
yeah, I like Lily because, and I know Jordan likes these charts too, is where they
Oh yeah.
break a very clear support and then like immediately get bought
After
back up.
yep.
accumulating to like that, after
Yeah.
just consolidating, and then you see this abrupt manipulation move down to then
And then
potentially
right back up.
the real move right back up. It's my favorite. I
There's
love it.
so many
Yeah.
people that got stopped out that they're gonna probably, well, they could FOMO back in, they
Yeah.
could all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff, and or people who short the down move could now be underwater and break back up. So yeah, I think this one, I've been looking at this saying, this is it really just gonna stop that short of 1,000 and never get to that $1,000 mark? That just, then you get through a
Well, you never
thousand, you
know.
usually get to 1,200.
Celsius did
Yeah.
it at $100. Never touched it and hit like what
Yeah.
99 something. Oh, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, but you just make a energy
Oh
drink.
wow.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's on its way back up
It's on
there.
its way
Beautiful.
back though. Yeah, it's true. Very true.
Wow.
It's up what 100 and something% this year. I forget exactly what it is, but it's in
I
that.
Yeah,
got
two,
Oh,
stopped out of
200.
Iran
two.
twice
My
this
bad.
week. What is it doing? Let's see.
Iron,
It's
is that
yeah,
the?
twice. I'm like, okay, I'm done with you.
Yeah, it's choppy.
It's so choppy. I'm like, okay, I'm done. These things are like you hold them when they're like nothing, when they cost nothing, and you hold them, you make 300-400%, and that's it. I don't know. Trading this stuff is really difficult because like they just chop you out all the time.
Yeah, it
Cypher
can be
had a
tough.
nice move.
This is a battery thing, right? Is that what they're
Which one?
iron? Is iron a battery
I think a
player or?
crypto, like a
Uh,
hybrid miner.
Hmm.
Cypher, Iron. There are all these like new ones. Wolf had an insane move. I have
With
Wolf.
a
I
U.
own it. WULF.
oh, the
Mm-hmm.
TerraWolf. Yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
terrible.
Terra Wolf. Yeah. Mm.
That was a big move. Look at that.
Yeah. News.
The
I think
short
Google
float
bought them,
on this
right?
one, I think this like 30% shorted or
On Wolf.
something, is it?
On Wolf.
TerraWolf,
Oh,
I
great. Yeah,
think.
I own it. So please squeeze.
Yeah, 31
Let me see.
percent as the last report. So that's probably contributing. And this is why, again, I think charting out the short float is huge because you can see
Of course.
where they started to short. So they started to pile into the short kind of right here on the chart.
Mm-hmm.
So their average short's probably $5-6. So you're when you're at 9, it's interesting. I think it's this Friday too that you can see that it's flat for a while and then moves, because I think it's every 2 weeks short float data is updated. So I think it's this week. I think it's this weekend we get new short float data. So I'll be interested, and I go through on Sunday nights and look at these things, because if a chart like this, if it doesn't tick down dramatically, if they're still short, or he's rip for them if they've shorted more into this move, then that's the list of names that I'm going into next week. I want the names that, like, this whole time they've been shorting, and as it's been rising, at least for now, they haven't gotten out. And that's the same thing we're saying with open. I'm really watching this one just to say if this is still heavily shorted, because if you look at the chart here, most of the shorts have opened under $1, which just seems insanely greedy to me, and that's where they put on most of their short trade. So unless this ticks down pretty aggressively when that new data comes out, I'm gonna probably add more. Just they're 3x 300% down on their short trade. I'll take them to the cleaners all day.
He says, "I'll take them to the cleaners." Yep.
I
This is
love it.
yeah, rinse and repeat over and over. And I do not feel bad about it, right, Michael? Now it's like,
No, I
well,
listen. Especially look, you shorted when it broke $1. Like, that's when you really laid on the gas. This thing was a $40
like
stock,
finally, yeah,
like, and you're really gonna hit it under $1.
makes
That
no
that to
sense.
me is like GameStop level greed. Like, GameStop is probably going to go bankrupt, but you're going to short 110% of the stock when it's bankrupt. I don't know. It seems
Yeah, it
crazy
just
to me.
doesn't make sense. I'm with you. Well, guys, you got any other thoughts on the market you want to lay out for the crew before we wrap up this session?
I would just say, listen, as always, wait for him to get off stage.
Yeah.
Everyone goes crazy trading when he's out there. I know he's talking like
Mhm.
5 minutes or something, but
Hmm.
as soon as he leaves, because we know he's going to come out and take a shot every time he says data dependent and blah, blah, blah. And then when he leaves, it seems like that's when the market says, okay, now we're going to pick a direction for the day. I'm not taking any stock in anything that's happened so far until he's done.
Yeah, I'm probably kicking back too. I've had a great week and might let some automation strategies do something. But other than that, I'm gonna kick back and just enjoy the day. But Leah, you have any more thoughts for the crew?
That's it, guys. It's still we're getting into September, Nvidia next week, and then we have all this data in September. So I'm still careful. I'm 40% cash and some, as I said, some puts and callers, and that's it. Even if he talks today, who knows what happens next week? So these are like 2 months, like from mid August till end of September. I'm kind of very cautious
Yeah.
and taking it a little bit easier. But
Well,
that's
makes
it.
sense
Thanks,
given the
guys.
market and what it usually does. So I'm with you.
Yeah,
Going to be an interesting couple of months. I'm excited though. Should hopefully have some
yeah.
fun volatility in the market still. So
And sadly, next week I won't be here, so I
okay,
will miss you both, and
no
I will be
worries. We'll
back
miss you,
then.
Leah. We'll miss all the trades as well, but we'll make do with just me and Michael.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah, a great morning, guys. I appreciate you coming on
thank
as
you.
always. And then, of course, in the audience, if you guys aren't following that Stock Twits YouTube channel, make sure you are. Make sure you're liking the streams that we're doing every week. And yeah, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the rest of the Friday. We'll see you guys next Friday. And we'll see. We can kind of recap how this all this stuff with Jerome Powell and Jackson Hole and all this extra data is going on. We'll recap it all next week. So enjoy it. We'll see you guys then. Peace out.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.